if you're in trucking and you're trying to figure out how you're supposed to win more loads, how are you going to bid on freight the right way? And can you bid in a justifiable way where you're putting your bid ahead of others just by the way you're talking about it, the way you're phrasing it, the way that you're exposing it to the shipper or the broker in that respect as well, if you're a carrier, for example. Okay. So, first off, communication and quickness and speed is one of the most important parts of the equation. So, you have to be quick. Okay. Even if you just respond with something like, I'll get you a rate ASAP, or getting you a rate now, or getting you an option right now, or I will advise in a few minutes. Just replying to the fact that they've sent out a load offer or a rate request will put you ahead of the pack. Okay. In addition to this, if you say something like, confirmed, received, we'll get a follow up shortly with an email or something of that nature, a different version of that. You can do that as well, and it will actually help you in the bidding process to help you win more loads just by the way that you're justifying yourself as someone that's looking out for the interests of your customer. Okay. What this does is it allows the load executive, essentially, the load planner on the shipper's side, to expect something from you. In other words, they're going to expect a rate back. And they want, in their approach, they want as many offers as they can pretty much get from the collection of vendors that they work with. So if they know that you're going to send out a rate, they may only reach out to you in the future, or just on this specific shipment. They may just wait until they get back a bid from you, especially if they've been very noticeable of your service. Okay, if you're one of their go-to providers, they may just say, hey, you know what? If he's saying he's going to get me a rate, he's going to get me a rate. I'm going to hold off and wait to see where this rate is going to be. Okay. In addition to this, they may actually want to get the load picked up ASAP. They may want to get it awarded ASAP. So what they will do is they may just send to whoever has a really, really quick response rate. So that's why you have to look at it from the perspective of speed. Okay. In addition to this, if you're not sure of how urgent something is, okay, make sure you ask if the rate is needed immediately, ASAP, it's urgent, okay? Or if it is just a future rate request from a customer that's just kind of looking for a ballpark range. This way, you know how much time and effort you have to put into this and how quickly you should get back to them, okay? And it also keeps you out in front of other people. Okay. And it keeps you ahead of the competition. Your sense of urgency, the amount of bids that I have won in this industry just because of my speed, just because of the speed, there's no number to put on it. Okay. So your sense of urgency will be what they remember when they think of who to award bids to. Okay. In addition to speed, maybe even just picking up the phone will get you ahead of the competition. Okay, so if you haven't received a response from your shipper, okay, if they haven't responded to the rate that you've thrown out, send another message, ask if your rate is close, okay, and see what they need. Okay, or you can just call them and ask them, literally just picking up the phone and saying, hey, is my rate close? Is this the ballpark you're looking for? Are we off by a lot? Are we off by a little? Having these open communications with your customers will help build rapport and solidify an actual business relationship with these people. Okay. And what this also does, it does actually put a little bit of pressure on them. It keeps you out front of other competition. Okay. And in addition to this, try to, as you gain the experience, try to read situations. Okay. I got better at it every single time I bid. Okay. Now, I'm not saying like actually, like figuratively, every single bid I'm 100% better, but percentage points, I got better at reading what a shipper was looking for and where I was on the bidding phase. Okay. So if it's a load you really want, call them just after even a couple minutes of sending your bid. Okay. This actually may push them to award it ahead of everybody else to you. Okay. In addition to this, don't just in an email response to the customer, just send dollar figures and that's it. There's no context to what you're telling them. Okay, so include how far away your option is from pickup. Is it empty or is it getting offloaded? Okay, is your truck getting offloaded or is it currently empty and ready to go? Provide an ETA to the pickup. Provide even an ETA to delivery once loaded. Okay, and that's very easy. You just look at the mileage. Once loaded, divided by 45 miles per hour, you will get your hours in terms of how far this trip is, plus, of course, any resets or sleep cycles that your driver may need to do. Okay. An example could be something like, I have a truck empty 25 miles away. We can pick up by 12 p.m. and deliver tomorrow before 9 a.m. for $1,200. Okay. As an example. Okay. You can also take the estimations out of the equation for the shipper. Okay, so tell the shipper every necessary detail that will give them confidence in your ability to cover the actual shipment. So if you feel you may need some more time to find a rate, make sure you let them know and let them know why. Okay, so something like, I'll get back to you ASAP. I'll get your rate as soon as I possibly can. With only 2 hours until pickup, I want to make sure I have a truck in hand for you. Okay. Trucks fall off. This is commonplace in the industry. Okay. Especially on these types of one-off, spot bid, urgent, expedited loads. So hopefully all offers coming in are with a secured truck. Okay. This is a sales tactic that you can use to win more bids as well with your shippers. Also, you will lose bids. This is real. This is just realistic thinking. Okay. So when this happens, okay, email them back and ask if you were close. Okay. Try to, if you don't have a portal or some kind of TMS system to track this stuff, document what the rate is that they actually covered it for. And look to emphasize what is your commitment to proper truck sourcing and lane pricing for future opportunities. So you can say things like, thanks for the opportunity. This is a great lane for us and fits our network well. Let me know if you have any others coming up again, either today or in the future. Okay. Also, you can follow up to show you may not have won any of those loads, but you know what you're doing. Okay, so looking to build a network on lanes to provide more competitive rates. Okay, so you can tell them, hey, I'm looking just to build my network on this lane to provide more competitive bids. Please keep the offers coming as I gain some more efficiency and capacity on this. Okay, and try not to be afraid to bid on absolutely everything. Well, like almost everything. There's some things obviously that, if someone comes to you and says, hey, I got a giraffe to move, if you don't know how to do it, you may want to, figure it out before you start bidding on giraffe moves, as an example, from an airport pickup of a giraffe coming over to the zoo or something like that, right? So you do have to figure out what your strategies and processes will be to make the bidding process a lot more comfortable for you and a lot more of a positive experience between you and your shipper. So sometimes things happen like where you come across a multi-stop, heavy, or just a random weird load that makes it harder and you are going to feel very uncomfortable bidding. So everyone else who sees this, it's going to be hard for them too. So that way, if you get it, then you will have enough money to cover the load if you bid on it a little bit higher. But don't bid on something if you don't have 100% confidence that you're going to be able to cover this for your customer. The whole point of this is that you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. It's very hard to recover from that with a shipper, especially if it's your first load with them. It's hard, let alone any other load. But even like the first opportunity where you just overpromised, overshot it, thinking, "Yep, this is I can do this," and then it ends up not being the best because you don't have the network to cover it. And try to avoid bidding something that's crazy, something like 17 stop, expedited, time critical, reefer, hazardous material type of load as an example. Okay. If you don't have the network to cover that, Don't bid on things like that. First, establish that network of carriers who are willing to do such things, or find that network within your network or even outside of your network to build a new network for such shipments and work around it from there. Okay. Also, I know some people in different organizations, services outside of logistics don't like to justify their bids. They don't like to justify their rates. They don't like to justify their prices for the services that they offer. They think it's not the right approach. In this type of environment, whether you're a trucking company or a brokerage, justifying your bids can actually put you ahead of the competition. Okay. So for example, if a customer sends out, more than 2 loads to bid at 5:00 and both loads are ready now and need to pick up by 6 p.m. Okay. As an example, and they require reefers as an example, and the delivery location is not a very, desirable place where people want to go. Look at the time. Okay, 30 minutes left in the business day, or a half hour, or 45 minutes left. Okay, your time is valuable, and if you're going to work these type of shipments, you better make it easier on yourself, or you will be in a lot of trouble trying to figure this out. How you're going to find an option for your customers. Okay, so in certain areas where reefer loads are hard to find, okay, so if it's hard to find, they may want a round trip rate or enough deadhead to go to a better region. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, if you're sending your guy to the middle of nowhere in Wyoming, you may need to pat that rate down so they can get to a more desirable market where there's actually loads for them to take elsewhere. Okay, you got on these type of shipments, you got to bid a little bit high. Okay, so if you want to say something like, "Thanks for reaching out, I can take care of these shipments for you. I would need to be at $6,500 on these loads going to Wyoming." Okay, and on the loads going to California, I need to be at such and such rate. And you can justify it by saying something like, "These rates are higher than what you're probably used to seeing, but I can lock these rates in, guarantee you a truck, and not waste our evenings dealing with no communication, last minute changes, and decommitments." Okay. With the inbound markets not faring all that well and the need to procure the trucks within the next 2 hours, the rates provided are specially tailored to fit the requirements as needed. If you have a better option, you can roll with that. But either way, I want to make sure I have a better option, okay? Or that I have an option for you in case your other options break down. I'll always let you know why or how I formulated my rate, but one thing you can count on is that I will provide an option, okay? So, and only say that if you mean it. Please don't say things that you don't mean. Okay? Don't put yourself in a situation where it's almost as if you're lying. Okay? In addition to this, in this industry, you have to always be knowledgeable. You always have to be updated on the knowledge and the market. Okay? Find some kind of data, whether it's TMS data, or you talk to drivers, or you talk to your carriers, or you talk to connections in the industry, or you talk to your customers, you talk to your friends, your colleagues. There's newsletters, freight data sources, news. There's so many ways for you to be up to speed as to whatever market to market rates are. You're aware of what's happening. And you have to know what is going on, whether there's a holiday, a weather-related event, okay? If there's a material shortage, okay? If there's congestion at ports, if roads are closed, if there's a natural disaster. Be aware of these things, tornadoes, hurricanes. This affects pricing. All of this affects the market. All of this affects what is available, what trucks are available in the area, okay? And just keep yourself with mental notes and with notes on your digital devices so you're aware of what's happening in the market. Okay? In addition to this, get to know the shippers and receivers. Okay? Pick up the phone and communicate with them. Help set appointments, update ETAs, provide driver information. Okay? Check if there's any flexibility on closing hours. Learn how these shippers and receivers load and unload freight, how quick they are, how slow they are. Ask if there's any other equipment that you may be able to use or solve issues for. For example, in case there's no dry vans in the area, to use a reefer for the loads. Okay? Your customer contacts will most likely appreciate the fact that they don't have to do the extra work by coordinating with them. Okay, so your customer contact may be more likely to award the load because they know if anything goes wrong, you have a better capability to actually cover the loads for them. And no matter what, if you're committing to customer service, always provide an option. And it's not rocket science. You will be able to, if you keep yourself updated in the market and keep your network growing, don't let it become stale. You will have an option even if it's in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. You will be able to find an option for your customers. Okay? And in addition to this, ensure accurate ratings. Okay? So check your data sources. Okay? Whether that's something like Truckstop or DAT or whatever, if you're in Canada, LoadLink, or with carriers. I like to go to, if you're a broker, I like to go to like my 5 to 10 carriers in that market and see if they have availability. And if they have availability, what would their rate be and when could they pick up? So you can get a general consensus of where that rate can be. Once you have a rate in mind, your goal is to prove it wrong or right by following things like, if you can't prove it wrong, then either use the rate or adjust off of your knowledge of the lane or the market. If you find other rates that are not close to what you think the rate should be, then adjust it up or down to accommodate based off of what you've done on your research side or your findings. Okay? Go to your load board that you're using and search for trucks. Okay? And see how many trucks are in the area. If there's no trucks in the area, your rate will probably need to be higher. If there's way too many trucks in the area, your rate will probably need to be a little bit lower. Go to also and search for loads. See what other brokers are posting on the same lane. Okay? See what their rates look like. See who's on or off on that respect as well. Look at the market conditions. Okay, for a certain set of time. Yes, right now rates are horrendous everywhere. It's not where we'd all love it to be. It's not even normal rates. It's just really bad rates. But in general, whenever the market flips, keep up to date with that. Okay? And double check the cities. Make sure you confirm exactly where the cities are and the mileage matches the mileage on the other resources that you're using. Okay? So this really is a lot of things in combination to making sure you're pricing accordingly to your customers. Okay? This is not just me talking. This is other brokers discussing this stuff and talking about how best to bid on freight with your shippers. Okay? But you have to be honest. Okay? If there's one thing that I want to sign off on, it's that honesty. Okay? Don't be the broker or the carrier that takes a load thinking, oh yeah, sure, yeah, maybe I can cover it. Don't do that. You're going to put yourself in a situation where you're giving loads back, and that doesn't look good either. Okay? So keep up to date with all of this, and hopefully this helps some of you become better brokers and become even better carriers. Carriers can use this information as well. Truck drivers can use this information as well to better uphold their bidding processes. Okay? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. We put a lot of effort into making sure we put knowledge out there. This is unedited stuff. This is just on the fly talking about freight, logistics, and trucking. Subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos. Take a look at all the different videos on the channel. And if you got any questions for me, hit me down in the comment section. If you want to add anything to this, hit it down in the comment section. And let's educate one another. All right? In logistics and trucking. Thank you.